What's up, guys? It's Sir William, and today we're fixing to go to the Fernbank Museum of Natural History. Check it out. So interesting enough, the Piedmont right there is actually the foothills of Georgia, and they have rocks that are 1.1 billion years old. It's crazy. So this is interesting too. The Appalachian Mountains, which are starting in the northeast Georgia and then go all the way up, actually arose 250 million years ago and to a height of 40,000 feet. And they've weathered down to the old rounded mountains that you see in today's, version, I guess. But that's really cool. The age of them is very interesting as well. So the ridge and valley is sedimentary rock of the ridge and valley that was initially formed beneath the shallow areas or shallow seas. So these rock layers were folded and thrust during the continental collision that also created the Appalachian Mountains, which is pretty cool. This happened 200 million years ago. Can you imagine if you were swimming out at the beach and this thing came after you? So this area focuses on the walk through Georgia, and this is the Cumberland Plateau, which is up in the northwest region of Georgia, smallest region, and it was developed 540 million years ago. How about a dinosaur footprint, huh? Allosaurus, which was a meat eater, 35 feet long, weighs near 2 tons. That's his foot. Imagine seeing this little guy. You're out in the woods, right? And you see this little guy coming after you. What would you do? Huh? Check out those big old spikes on his tail. That's wild, man. I need some of those armor plates on my back. Pretty cool. Two socket of a juvenile and a vertebrae of an adult Hardosaurus. Fragment or shell of a paving stone turtle. Vertebrae from the Tronchosaurus. Member of the crocodile family. Pretty cool. Look at that thing. Mosasaur. fossilized teeth of a goblin shark, giant oyster, tooth fragments of vertebrae, tooth fragments from a 𝗬𝒍𝒐𝒏𝒈, whatever the hell that is. A foot bone of an Appalachiosaurus. That's awesome, man. That's where they were all found. Now we're at the coastal plain of Georgia. A 100 million years ago. Here's the 𝗬𝒄𝒏𝒈 swamp, 25,000 years old. So oddly enough, the 𝗬𝒄𝒏𝒈 is one of the oldest and best preserved swamps. Many swamps, it says, dry up hundreds of years or within hundreds of years. But the 𝗬𝒄𝒏𝒈 is 8,000 years old, and despite the oxygen-poor water, many species thrive in the 𝗬𝒄𝒏𝒈. More than 400 vertebrate species, and including over 250 bird species. It's pretty cool, man. I didn't know swamps dry up after only a couple hundred years. Some of the inhabitants off the coast of Georgia to North Carolina. Those guys taste very good. Pottery from the coastal foragers, 3000 to 1500 BC. And over there you have 1500 to 1300 AD, or 1500 BC to 1300 AD. It's from the St. Catherine's period, which is 800 to 1300 AD. From 350 to 800 AD. These pots are from 1300 to 1580 AD, 1580 AD to 1700 AD. That's really cool that these people used all these pots and it was right outside of Georgia. How about this dugout canoe? Satilla River dugout canoe. This thing's from about 1700 AD. Can you imagine being in the river in that thing? My leg wouldn't hardly fit in that thing. It's crazy. Look how skinny that thing is. There's no way. I mean, really. They must not have had Chick-fil-A back then. So this thing, this pine that they have here was actually 200 years old before they made it into a dugout canoe. And they did so by burning and scraping the inside. It was eventually taken out by termites. Here's how they made it. The oldest one they found is 4,000 years old. So there's way too much to try to go through in just this one room, but in essence what it talks about is the very first inhabitants of Georgia being the Spanish, and then early signs of the Europeans and their exploration of America. Interesting. It talks about how they wear these watches that actually have no timekeeping skills at all, but they do it to symbolize the chief's power to control even time itself. Wow. The different marital status symbols across the world. Pretty interesting. Between pendants and hats and neck rings. Check this hat out. The Zulu hat. Huh? Well, what about these earrings? How about the different symbols for wealth all across the world? These are anklets. Something a little bit more familiar to us, huh? How about a fetish necklace? Give me a fetish necklace of a bald eagle, 'cause America. That's pretty cool. If I could put you in that some kind of way, you could hear the different tones, that the noise around us and how it's processed, I guess, through the length of those tubes. Real live ones. Gators. I'm gonna eat your tail one day. I'm kind of upset that I'm too big to play in there. So it's pretty cool that they go through so much effort to try to make it fun and interactive for kids to learn about it, but there's kids everywhere. Look at that guy. Holy cow. That's a T-Rex next to him. So this guy was actually found in Argentina. These are giant cast replicas of the actual bone itself. And the reason is because by law the bones must remain in Argentina. But look at the size of this. I mean, absolutely massive. This is pretty interesting, right? Weight loss bacteria. I need some of that bacteria. So how do you get it? Onions and bananas. Interesting if you ever wondered what the effects of probiotics and what a probiotic was. Giant clam. Holy cow. This thing was 3.5 foot high and weighed 500 pounds whenever it was alive. That's wild. Really cool shells though. That's awesome. Look at this one. I don't know why, I just never thought of it, but yeah, I guess there are different shells across the world. Look at that one. So what a cool place. They've even got this outdoor portion of this museum. that takes you all through the trees and tells you what kind of trees they are. And now we're fixing to go down by a little creek area. How neat is that? Pretty cool little story about this little wildlife sanctuary here, right in the middle of Atlanta. How about that? So they've actually got another 1.7 mile forest loop that you can go through the Fernbank forest and observe the birds and snakes and other wildlife, which I think is really cool. Except for I've done that outside the city limits quite a few times. So I think I'm gonna pass on that today. Plus this weekend I've already walked tons of distances, which is not a bad thing, but my feet are kind of hurting. You are getting very sleepy. When you awake, you will press the subscribe button on SirWilliamGoes and remain a subscriber till the end of time and watch every video that comes out and share it with your friends. Now look at the wall. Alright, so that's it. The Fernbank Museum of Natural History. And man, that was actually a really cool museum. I highly recommend that if you're in the Atlanta area to visit the museum, the zoo, as well as the aquarium. And whenever you do that, make sure that you get the city pass to do it. You'll save a good bit of money and you'll get some expedited entrance, which means you don't have to wait in line. I appreciate you guys watching. Till next time, peace.